Good morning, beautiful people. I thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope that you are about to have the best day of your entire life. I thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you also to AdamMail.com, today's sponsor. AdamMail.com has literally thousands of items that will spice things up in the bedroom for you and your partner. It is a win-win-win, folks. AdamMail.com has things like sex toys, condoms, lubricants, underwear, DVDs. They have BDSM equipment. They have literally, like I said before, thousands of items. Now, as great as that is on its own, here's something even better. For Dewey Show listeners only, if you go to AdamMail.com and you use my offer code DEWEY, that's Dewey, at checkout, you will get 50% off of almost any one item, as well as free and always discreet shipping. That's AdamMail.com, ADAMMALE.com, and the offer code is Dewey, that is DEWEY. Like everything else I talk about in today's show, this link and offer code will be in the description of today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you to AdamMail.com for sponsoring today's show. So you folks remember when I was covering the family YouTuber Ruby Franke, right? The woman that punished her children, allegedly, by not feeding them and taking away their bedroom quote-unquote privileges, making them sleep downstairs by a toilet when they're sick, just like all, and there's more to it. A little boy who was her son, he came to a neighbor's house with his little feet taped up, and his arms taped up, and he asked them, "Will you please help me? And my mom's not there." And he was like, why are you tied up, buddy? And he was like, "Oh, I was being bad," something like that, which was heartbreaking. And so the gentleman, who, by the way, I applaud, it takes him in and calls 911 and said, look, we need somebody here to look at the well-being of this young man and see if he's okay. Please send CPS. And so they did. As CPS came, and they're like, okay, what the hell? There was another kid that was tied up. And yeah, anyway, there was so much other stuff going on. And I want to read, let's see, I want to read all of the allegations made toward her, and I don't know, that were made toward her. Okay, so this is from People magazine. Ruby and Hillebrand also regularly sought to indoctrinate Ruby's son Russell and convince him that he was evil and possessed. Per the plea agreement, that he was made to believe that the torture he endured constituted acts of love, and that the punishments were necessary to repent. Ruby admitted in the plea agreement that she subjected her 12-year-old son to outside labor without shoes and in the summer heat, forcing him to, quote, stand in direct sunlight for several hours, end quote, and, quote, remain outside at all times of the day and night for extended periods of time, end quote, without adequate water for several days during the blistering work. He was punished when he secretly consumed water. Which, by the way, folks, a grown adult can not survive more than 3 days, I believe, without water. Imagine what that's like for a 12-year-old child. Per the plea agreement, her 2 youngest children had blistered and slouching skin, and law enforcement alleged in documents early in the investigation that there were wounds and sometimes rubbed down with cayenne pepper and honey. After Russell's August 30th escape, he would later tell law enforcement officers that he climbed out of the window of the Hildebrandt sprawling Ivins, Utah home, where he was staying with his mother and Eve, and under the scorching desert sun, made his way about the distance of a block to a neighbor's house that morning. And the neighbor calls 911, and 911, they come. So let's see. She was sentenced to 2 to 40 years in jail. Okay, and by the way, that is because she was charged 15 years for each count, and I believe there were 4. However, they're not to run concurrently, they're to be ran consecutively, which means, let's say I stole your bubble gum, and that got me 2 years in prison, and I took some change off of your dresser, and that got me 2 more years in prison, because they're separate crimes, right? If the judge says, well, you have to run them consecutively, that means that I get credit for both crimes, as I'm in jail. So, when I'm done serving my 2 years for stealing the bubble gum, I also get credit for the time that the 2 years that I got for stealing the change off of your dresser. Now, concurrently means that I don't get any credit for the second one. For the first one, where I stole your bubble gum and then your change, I go 2 years for the bubble gum and 2 years for the change. And in no way am I equating this to stealing bubble gum. Not at all. I think that this bitch should fucking fry for the things that she's done. Fuck her. I was using that as an example, a simple example, to tell you what the differences are if you did not know, okay? She's fucking disgusting, and I sincerely do not know. Alright, folks, let's take a little break to talk about today's sponsor, AdamMel.com. Folks, look, I know how hard it is to shop for a significant other. I really do. It's hell sometimes. But today I'm going to make it easy for you. And this is a win-win. And I'll tell you why in a minute. But if you head over to AdamMel.com and use the offer code Dewey at checkout, AdamMel is giving Dewey Show listeners an exclusive 50% off of almost any one item, as well as free and always discreet shipping. They have thousands of items like sex toys, condoms, lubricants, underwear, DVDs, gear, all kinds of things. There's something there for everyone. There really is. So head on over to ADAMMALE.com and use the offer code DEWEY at checkout. And folks, this is going to make a great Christmas gift for your loved one. Once again, that's AdamMel.com, offer code DEWEY. Along with everything else I talk about today, this link and offer code will be in the description of today's episode. Thank you so much for listening to The Dewey Show. Now let's get back at it. why the fuck she is not getting life in prison. Ruby Franke was once a popular vlogger who gave parenting advice to her millions of followers, but behind the scenes, she was physically torturing and starving at least 2 of her children. The 41-year-old Utah mother of 6, who pled guilty in December to 4 counts of second-degree child abuse, admitted to a slew of horrific acts that included forcing them to work outside, like I was saying. She tried to convince her children that they were evil and possessed, and that that the punishments were necessary to repent. She described the abuse as acts of love. Now, if I'm a judge and I hear that, right, her defense attorney says that right away, I'm dismissing the jury. And I'm not going to like say you're done, go home, none of that. I'm saying, okay, hold on, jury, disregard what you heard, please get the jury out of here. And I would tell that defense lawyer, I'd say, look, I'm not going to give you a long leash on this, okay? You're not going to call what happened to these children acts of love. There are pictures that clearly show that there are abuse. I don't care if I don't care what religion your client is. I will not have that. If I hear that again, you and your client will be charged with contempt of court. Now bring the jury back in. That's what I would have done. But it is what it is, right? The disturbing details were revealed in Franke's statement filed in court last December in support of her guilty pleas, in which she stated she abused 2 of her children in Washington County from 22 May to her arrest on 30 of August. Franke, along with her business partner Jody Hildebrandt, that bitch is another fucking crazy. These 2 women are fucking assholes. They are the fucking scum of the earth. And so is the father, by the way. And I don't know if Hildebrandt is married or not, but the way that they look the other way, those motherfuckers need to be in fucking gymnastics for as fast as they can fucking turn their head. But they were arrested in August after Franke's 12-year-old son escaped from Hildebrandt's house and asked a neighbor to call the police while begging for food and water, according to the police. The boy appeared to be severely malnourished and had deep lacerations from being tied up with rope and from his malnourishment. According to court documents, Hildebrandt had allegedly used cayenne pepper and honey directly on their wounds, the boy alleged. Franke admitted in her statement that her actions involved the physical torture of her son. Okay, so, like, I just want to say something as Dewey, okay? Not reporter, nothing, right? Just as me as a man, okay? And a person. And a gay man at that, okay? I want a kid, like, very badly, right? But it's just not going to happen even if Seth and I tried to get a child. We wouldn't be able to get one because we live in Utah. And we're a gay couple. Now, he and I would be so much better parents than these assholes, which, I mean, that is a very fucking low bar, but we would be awesome fucking parents. And, like, this bitch has fucking, like, 900 kids, right? And I would take in as many as I possibly fucking could, preferably all of them, so that they could stay together. I'd foster them until they were 18. but I can't because I'm gay. And I don't understand how the fuck a person like her gets the honor of being a parent when she is the fucking scum of the earth, and then you've got a good, decent, law-abiding citizen in myself, and I cannot, I can't adopt or foster kids. It's crazy. In the police statement, Franke further admitted to forcing the boy into long hours of physical tasks, working outside in the summer without shoes or adequate water. He received repeated and serious sunburns that blistered after he was forced to stand in the direct sunlight for several days. The boy was denied sufficient food and water, and when given food, he was given very plain meals, while others in the house ate regular and more flavorful meals, according to the plea agreement. Franke, who also admitted to kicking her son while wearing boots, holding his head underwater, and cutting off oxygen by placing her hand over his mouth and nose. Now, okay, here's another thing that Dewey the judge would do, okay? I would read the plea agreement, right? And I would come out the very next day after the defense and prosecution shook hands on this. I would say this plea agreement is not happening. This plea agreement, she will face whatever the jury finds, because the judge has the power to say no to the plea agreement. And guess what? That means that she's already pled guilty, and you have this statement right there. Now, is it ethical to do that? I really don't know or care. I would do that. I would do that, and I would read the plea agreement and her confessions to the jury, and I would say she gets life in prison. That's what we're going here for, jury, right? And the jury decides, hey, this is what she gets in jail. Now, would that be a huge risk on my behalf? Not really, because I live in Utah, and guess what? We're pretty fucking against child abuse here. Well, at least the folks I know. I can't speak for all of Utah. Anyway, she tied them up in ropes, like I said, took their room away, took away food, quote-unquote, privileges, just like all kinds of shit. Pulled them out of school so that they could not make any friends. There's so much that she did that people, only recently started noticing in her videos. But what needs to happen, folks, is she needs to face time for what she did. And probably some of that time should be spent with a shrink, too. Because she's not all there. If she thinks her fucking baby child is fucking possessed because he's acting out, every kid does that. She should know that she has fucking 46 kids. Jesus Christ. Yes, this woman does not deserve to be a mom. I'm sorry, y'all, she doesn't. She doesn't deserve to have kids. She doesn't deserve to hear them calling her mom. And the father, he needs to go to jail just as much for the same amount of time as her, because he was too fucking pussy whipped or henpecked, whichever one you prefer, to go and do anything about it. You just let the kids fucking get their human rights violated. Like, some of the shit that she was doing, folks, is against what we all got together as humanity and signed a thing, called the Geneva Convention. We signed, okay, this can't happen. This would be a war crime. That would be a war crime. So there is shit that our soldiers cannot, our military cannot even do, that this mom did, right? Now, she needs more than 4 years. I'm sorry. I know that that's biased, but I honestly really don't care. This woman's a piece of shit. She's a piece of shit. And that's all I got to say about that.
For everything Dewey Show related, including sponsor links and information, head over to DeweyShow.com.